Welcome to the bold analysis. On Saturday, Raila Odinga shared a podium with William Ruto for the first time since the August 9th general election. And the very Saturday, again, they met in Kasarani for Kipchoge Keino Classics Marathon. And on Sunday, they were again together, met the same place watching the Gor Mahia versus AFC Derby. And 3 meetings, 1 weekend, the same weekend, and only himself. Yeah, of course, there were many other questions that came by, with pundits asking whether it was coincidental or it was planned. And I can just tell you that in politics, it's never coincidental. There is always a choreographed, everything is always choreographed and planned for a specific objective to be achieved. So in this one, I'll try to answer this question from latest development. There is an article that Standard is having, and I've just drawn some insight from that. Ledamo Lakina is reminding Raila Odinga and William Ruto that lowering the cost of living is why Kenyans went to the street. Samson Cherargei, Nandi senator, saying the meeting was coincidental and Kenyans should not read more from it. Now, the Standard is saying Boni Halwale, and who is the spokesperson of the UDA caucus in the bipartisan talks, the UDA caucus is proposing a raft of changes in the law on mass action so that it will clip the extent of mass action and also put a responsibility in the organizer of the mass action to take care of everything when things are destroyed. A move that the lawyers in that committee are saying is aimed at limiting the same rights that were granted under the article, under the 2010 Constitution. But from him seated, if the bipartisan talks, because the current the meetings actually brought the bipartisan talks into the sharp focus. What is the fate of those talks? And this UDA move to go back to that committee and insert that constitutional change proposal is very sinister and is very revealing in terms of what exactly is the intention. Because from what I understand, the bipartisan talks are supposed to give us the ceasefire and give us the solution. That has not been it. So I want us to delve deep into that move and look at what exactly is at stake so far as we speak. I want to remind you about Mzee Ruben Imela appeal. This Mzee you are seeing here, the family reached out to me. If you go to Mukumu Hospital in Kakamega, he's currently diagnosed there with hemorrhoids. So the Mzee is in really deep pain. He's due for some surgery that only need 67,000. But the NHIF, I think, had been exhausted because he's been going through medication for quite some time. And they reached out to us. So I'm just asking standing on behalf of this old man, for help us. We're just going to do one day fundraiser, a Tuesday fundraiser, so that on Wednesday, I believe what we shall have collected, we shall send to the family, and we believe that they can place a deposit so that the surgery is done on Wednesday. So I'm reaching out to you, and I want to say thank you very much for those who are responding kindly. I've just did it. We need 50,000. So that means if 1,000 people can donate 50 shillings, then on Wednesday morning, we shall send that money. I believe this can be done. We've always done. So this one is just going to be a Tuesday appeal, one day, and we help them. They have pinned the number there. Now, when you read the Standard story, I was a bit shocked Because as emerged, there is this contentious issue. Raila has been known to be soft to power, especially when he becomes politically leaning. And that was seen after the handshake. Raila did not go to ask about the reforms on IBC. And this was largely blamed that part of what the Azimio suffered in the last election was because there was a bit of laxity. It dropped the ball on election reforms, despite of the fact that we were coming from an election that was already disputed. So what exactly is happening here? And Raila Odinga must tread very careful with William Samoei Ruto because of these three reasons. Ruto would like to soften Raila's stand on the bipartisan talks and trap him off. I still don't support why immediately after Raila Odinga and William Ruto perhaps shared a podium in what was seen as just some sort of ceasefire, the members of that committee have gone and are now, the UDA team are inserting a proposal on clipping the rights to protest. Don't it look like someone is putting him caged, strapping him here? He becomes politically leaning, then everything is done. Because what Raila must do is that the hard stance and what he stood for, what Azimio la Umoja stood for in those bipartisan talks, should not be compromised because of what can be seen as a political compromise in the podium. Otherwise, that will be what William Ruto is looking for. And he might be very careful, because otherwise that will, the others, there is no any other way out of it. This can be a deliberate move from Mtaani to split Azimio la Umoja, because truth be told, both meetings, of course, in the burial they were with Jeremiah Kioni and the other Mount Kenya leaders. But in Kasarani, the two meetings in Kasarani, Kalonzo would go to Kipchego Classic. Even Martha Karua, I believe they could go. He was there and alone, and even on Sunday was alone. So the truth of the matter here is there could be some voices of discord. And William Ruto would actually fix a coincidental meeting just for the camera. Not to mean anything very serious like ceasefire, because I don't believe he's actually after a ceasefire. For him, he's still stuck. I don't believe he's still into that. So this can be done to deflate the Azimio la Umoja's unity. Because I believe, how would Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua and the team, I know you can look at them and say they're lightweight, but they're also political heavyweights. If this is going on without bit of their consent or of their knowledge, did they approve? Did Mzee say? So Raila Odinga must also be very sensitive, because Ruto is very cunning and could be fixing these stage-managed meetings and public gigs, publicity stunts, just to irritate the Azimio team. Then it's about divide and rule. The state is going after Raila Odinga because Raila Odinga is winning the souls of the hustlers by speaking to what the hustlers are going through. And I can say this, if the son of Mary, Radiomaisha, is listening to me, someone can share this video to him. I wish someone shares this video to him. William Ruto knows very well that the finance bill is facing a challenge even from his own MPs. And the number of MPs on his side who are also opposed to the finance bill because of political reasons. William Ruto knows very well that doctors and teachers and lecturers are threatening strike. Both of them have issued strike notice. And there are quite a number of distress, public distress against what's going on in government. And the biggest beneficiary of this distress is Raila Odinga. So what will be to do? You go for Raila. And when you go for Raila, it's just for the ground softening and manage. And probably when he is around, things will be good, rosy. But at the right time, when they split for political reasons, Raila will carry all the baggage. And the William Ruto you see will come and tell the hustlers that Raila was the problem. Take that. That's it. Because from where I am, that bipartisan talks might end into some sort, if there is some sort of any agreement between Raila and Ruto, then I'm telling you it's very shaky. If it cannot be anchored on law, where people went to a constitution, it's in a constitution somewhere. It's not. Raila is needed here for the temporary reprieve. One, the hustlers are pushing the government. You know, on Monday, on Sunday, this weekend I was meeting, then on Monday people woke up to fuel hike. Petrol, diesel, kerosene, the price was due. And the Azimio team kept quiet. So that's it for the moment. People look at it in terms of personal fortunes, but I don't think it's because of personal fortunes. It's just that the state, because who needs the other? Honestly, Raila doesn't need them. But for them, they want to manage. They want to manage situations. Lastly, could be Raila is also quoting William Ruto to fatten him for slaughter. This is it. He would also still benefit from non-political, for low political agitation and make all those political blunders faltering one after the other. But at the right time when Raila will step out, maybe it will be about, you got it wrong. Sometimes Raila is the handbrake on the other side. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. The UDA move to clip the rights to protest under that bipartisan talks is very sinister, and just says that they don't believe on a permanent solution. They still believe that somewhere, somehow, Raila Odinga will go back to mass action. And that's why they think about it. It's just for the moment, manage, we collapse it, then, or probably it has also been infiltrated by the dark forces that wants to make sure it collapses. Because as I tell you, that has already become a stalemate. And things are a bit stuck as people are discussing about that. Thank you guys. Let's meet in the next video. And for those who are supporting this Mzee, kindly let's support this Mzee. I want to believe that by Wednesday, midday, we'll be in a position to send him what we shall have collected so that the surgery can be done. Thank you.